Thanks to the witnesses for being here. Mr. Sternfels, if I could just start with you. Did I hear you say in your opening statement, I'm going to quote you now, we have the industry's most rigorous client selection policy? Did I get that right?
We believe that to be true, Senator.
Well, how is it then that you end up with so many clients who are state-owned Chinese corporations hostile to the United States?
Thank you, Senator. So the basis for my answer was we've invested over $700 million over the last several years to put in place a rigorous client selection process that looks at a whole series of factors.
Well, let's talk about some of your clients. Like the China Communications Construction Company. This is a firm that is blacklisted by the United States government. This is a state-owned enterprise that is responsible for building artificial islands in the South China Sea, probably in direct contravention of international law, certainly in direct contravention to United States security interests. You helped them develop their 5-year plan. Why is that a good idea?
Senator, our work in China overwhelmingly works with multinational companies, including many of those being U.S. And private sector.
No, actually,
Chinese
you've
companies.
advised 22 of the 100 biggest state-owned companies in China. That's according to the New York Times. Let's talk about another one, the Chinese Ocean Shipping Company. That's a state-owned conglomerate that's played a key role in China's naval expansion. I'm quoting from NBC News here. And Beijing's bid to extend its global reach. This company has been given special status by the CCP and forms the core of China's defense industrial base. This company has provided logistical support to the Chinese Navy's escort operations in the Gulf of Aden, and experts say, I'm still quoting, it serves as the maritime logistical arm for the People's Liberation Army. You're advising them. How much money did you make on that contract?
No, Senator, we're not advising them. Neither.
Did you ever advise them?
Historically, we advised on none of the topics that you had highlighted.
You didn't advise the Chinese Ocean Shipping Company?
Not on the topics you described, Senator.
Why is it a good idea to advise them at all? They're a state-owned enterprise engaged in activity directly contrary to the security interests of this nation.
And they're no longer a client of ours, sir.
Why did you advise on 22 of the 100 biggest Chinese state-owned enterprises?
That number I don't believe is accurate, Senator.
It doesn't have anything to do with money, does it?
I don't believe that number is accurate, Senator.
How much money do you make off the United States government?
I don't know the size of our work with the U.S. government, Senator.
In 2021, you made more than $850 million in consulting work for the federal government with the Department of Defense as your top client. When you bid for those government contracts, did you disclose your work for these Chinese state-owned enterprises that were conducting activity adverse to our national security? Did you disclose it to the Department of Defense?
Senator, we take OCI incredibly seriously and have even gone beyond what is required around disclosures.
So that's a yes?
We take it incredibly seriously. We made all appropriate disclosures, Senator. I'm happy to come back to you on any details specific to the work that we do on the Department of Defense.
That is not what news reports have found and news agencies who've looked into this. In fact, to quote NBC News again, in bidding on contracts with the Department of Defense, the U.S. Navy, Customs and Border Protection, you did not disclose your work with Chinese enterprises in apparent conflict of interest. A report in 2021 showed, December 2021, that you admitted to providing services only for provincial and local governments in China, but not for the central government in China. My question is, why should you be able to get any contracts in the United States government? If you're going to advise foreign nations who are hostile to us and make gobs of money off of them, why should you be getting U.S. government contracts?
Senator, we've never worked with the Chinese Communist Party or the central government in China, to the best of my knowledge.
You're working with state-owned enterprises. China's not a democracy. They own these companies. These companies are doing the bidding of the Chinese military, and you're making money off of it, hand over fist. My question is, I guess if you want to do that,
A fiery Senate hearing erupts as Senator Josh Hawley confronts a top Mckinsey executive over alleged work with Chinese state-owned companies and past involvement in opioid marketing. From national security concerns to explosive accusations about profiting from addiction, this exchange pulls no punches. Watch the full breakdown, key moments, and what this could mean for government contracts, ethics, and corporate accountability.
I guess if you want to do that, I guess it doesn't violate the law. But I just wonder, why is it that you should then be able to turn around and make $850 million in 1 year alone off the American taxpayer? I mean, explain that to me.
Senator, our work with the federal government, we stand behind. We bring...
Well, I'm sure you do. It's incredibly lucrative. That's the problem. You make gobs of money off of our enemies, and then you turn around and you make gobs of money off of us. It's outrageous, frankly. Listen, you shouldn't be doing any work with the Chinese Communist Party and any enterprise that they own or have some share in. You shouldn't. And if you were serious about ethics, you wouldn't be doing it. But it's particularly outrageous that you then make money, almost $1 billion in a year, off the United States government, including the Defense Department. Now, I have introduced a law that would prohibit you from doing just this, and I will continue to push it until we get a vote on it. Now, let me ask you about one other thing since I've got you here. And I have to tell you, since I represent the state of Missouri that has been absolutely devastated by the opioid crisis. And I know you know a lot about that because, speaking of money, Mckinsey has made an unbelievable amount of money off of the opioid crisis. Let me ask you about this New York Times report, which found that Mckinsey proposed paying a $14,810 bounty to pharmacies for each opioid overdose. Is Mckinsey proud of that work?
Senator, our work was designed to actually reduce opioid abuse.
Really? Let me ask you about this. I think we've got a poster of this. We sell hope in a bottle. This is an advertising campaign you came up with. We sell hope in a bottle. That's for opioids. Hope in a bottle. You help Purdue Pharma market them to children. The Massachusetts Attorney General has filed a lawsuit that has all of these disclosures in it, describing how McKinsey consultants recommended and pushed Purdue to turbocharge OxyContin sales. McKinsey urged the Sacklers, owners of Purdue, to make a clear go, no-go decision to turbocharge the sales engine. The consultants pushed the board of directors to turbocharge the sales engine, to drive up the sale of opioids that is killing people left and right. Is McKinsey proud of that work?
Senator, as I had stated in the House, we were too slow in seeing the epidemic unfold around us.
You helped cause the epidemic.
No, Senator.
Really? You don't think that helped cause the epidemic? You don't think marketing these drugs to doctors and children helped cause the epidemic? You don't think you have any part in that?
Senator, what I can say, including the state of Massachusetts, is we were the first to actually reach a settlement with all states.
Well, sure. I mean, sure. When you're over a barrel. What are you doing for victims right now?
Senator, we've reached agreement with the states and municipalities.
Have you set up a compensation fund? You sharing some of your profits with them?
Senator, the settlement details are public.
No, I'm asking you. I mean, have you set up a compensation fund? Share some of your prodigious profits with the victims
Senator,
whose lives you helped destroy.
Our substantial settlements go to exactly that cause.
You know, I've sat here and I've listened to your responses to my colleagues, and it's the same old thing over and over. You don't want to be accountable for anything that you do. But I tell you what, this is unforgettable and frankly unforgivable. And your work right now, taking money from this government as you help the Chinese Communist Party, is absolutely unforgivable, and I will not rest until it is illegal. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Hawley. Senator Hassan.
Well, I want to thank you, Chairman Blumenthal and Ranking Member Johnson.
If you find this political breakdown interesting, please give me a thumbs up and as well like and subscribe for more.